Chapter 5. What to think, how to think. At home and at school, parents and teachers always tell us what we should think, but never in life do they teach us how to think. To know what to think is relatively easy. Our parents, teachers, tutors, authors, etc., each of them is a dictator in his own way. Each of them wants us to think about their dictations, demands, theories, prejudices, etc. Dictators of the mind are as common as weeds. Everywhere there is a perverse tendency to enslave, to bottle up other people's minds, to force them to live within determined norms, prejudices, etc. Thousands of millions of dictators of the mind have never wanted to respect the mental freedom of anyone. If someone does not think like them, he is classified as perverse, renegade, ignorant, and so on. Everybody wants to enslave everyone. Everybody wants to violate the intellectual freedom of other people. Nobody wants to respect other people's freedom of thought. Everyone feels sensible, wise, marvelous, and as it is natural, wants others to be like him, to make of him a hero, to think like him. The mind has been abused too much. Observe businessmen and their advertisements on newspapers, radio and television, etc. Commercial advertising is made in a dictatorial way. Buy such and such a soap, such and such shoes. Buy it now, immediately. Do not leave it for tomorrow. It has to be done immediately, etc. The only thing left for them to say is that if you do not obey, you will be put in jail or killed. A parent forcefully wants to push his own ideas into his child, and the school teacher reprimands, punishes, and gives low grades if a boy or girl does not dictatorially accept the teacher's ideas. Half of humanity wants to enslave the mind of the other half of humanity. This tendency to enslave other people's minds stands out at first sight when we study the dark pages of black history. Everywhere there have existed and still exist bloody dictators determined to enslave countries. Bloody dictatorships that dictate what people should think. Unfortunate is he who tries to think freely. He inevitably goes to a concentration camp, Siberia, prison, hard labor. He is hung, shot, exiled, etc. Neither teachers, nor parents, nor books want to teach how to think. People enjoy forcing others to think in the way that they believe is right. And it is obvious that everyone is a dictator in his own way when it comes to this situation. Each of us thinks we have the last word, that everyone else should think in our way because we are the best. Parents, teachers, and bosses scold their subordinates over and over again. That horrible tendency of humanity to be disrespectful to others, to violate other people's mind, to cage, lock up, enslave, and chain other people's minds is frightening. A husband wants to force into his wife's head his doctrine, ideas, etc., and a woman wants to do the same. Many times, husband and wife divorce because of incompatibility of ideas. Marriage partners do not want to understand the need to respect each other's intellectual freedom. No partner has the right to enslave the other partner's mind. Each of fact deserves respect. Each has the right to think as they like, to practice their religion, to belong to whatever political party they want to. School children are forced to think about certain ideas, but are not taught how to use their minds. Children's minds are tender, flexible, and ductile, while those of elderly people are hard, fixed, like concrete in a mold. They do not and cannot change. Children's and young people's minds are capable of many changes, and their minds can change. Children and young people can be taught how to think. It is difficult to teach elderly people how to think, because they are the way they are and die in this way. In life, it is very rare to find an old person interested in changing radically. People's minds are shaped from childhood. That is what parents and school teachers prefer to do. They enjoy shaping the mind of children and young people. A mind in a gold is in fact a conditioned mind, an enslaved mind. It is necessary that school teachers break the fetters of the mind. It is imperative that teachers know how to guide the minds of children towards true freedom, so that they are not enslaved anymore. It is indispensable that teachers teach their students how to think. Teachers should understand the need to teach students the path of analysis, meditation, understanding. No understandable person should ever accept anything in a dogmatic way. It is urgent to first investigate, understand, and inquire before accepting. In other words, we shall say that there is no need to accept, but instead we should investigate, analyze, meditate, and understand. When understanding is complete, acceptance is unnecessary. It is useless to fill our heads with intellectual information if on leaving school we do not know how to think and continue like living machines, repeating the same routine of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. To always repeat the same thing, to live the life of machines from home to work, and from work to home, to marry and become little child-making machines, is not living. If that is what we study for, if that is why we go to school, college, and university for 12 or 15 years, we would be better off by not studying. Mahatma Gandhi was a very unique man. Many times Protestant pastors sat on his doorstep for whole hours trying to convert him to Protestant Christianity. Gandhi did not accept the teaching of pastors. Neither did he reject them. He understood and respected them, and that was all. Many times Mahatma said, "I am Brahman, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, etc." Mahatma understood that all religions are necessary because they contain the same eternal values. Accepting or rejecting any doctrine or concept reveals a lack of mental maturity. When we reject or accept something, it is because we have not understood it. Whenever understanding exists, accepting or rejecting is unnecessary. The mind that believes, the mind that does not believe, and the mind that doubts is an ignorant mind. The path of wisdom does not lie in believing, not believing or doubting. The path of wisdom consists in inquiring, analyzing, meditating, experimenting. Truth is the unknown from moment to moment. Truth has nothing to do with what one believes or stops believing. Neither does it have anything to do with skepticism. Truth is not a matter of accepting or rejecting. It is something to experience, live, and understand. All the efforts on the part of teachers should, in the ultimate synthesis, take students into experiencing what is real, what is true. It is urgent that school teachers abandon old-fashioned and damaging tendencies, which are always directed at shaping the pliable and ductile minds of children. It is absurd for adults filled with prejudices, passions, old-fashioned preconceptions, etc., to damage children's and young people's minds in trying to shape their mind according to their rotten, dumb, old-fashioned ideas. It is better to respect the intellectual freedom of their students, respect their mental quickness, their creative spontaneity. Teachers do not have the right to confine the minds of students to a cage. What is essential is not to dictate to the minds of students what to think, but rather to teach fully how to think. The mind is the instrument of knowledge, and it is necessary for teachers to teach their students how to use that instrument wisely.